Hey everyone, today we're going to be checking out Sorry Sorry and Mamacita by Super Junior. Okay, so we are continuing our K-pop journey, me checking out stuff in the K-pop realm in which I've never heard or not familiar with. Super Junior is a name that has come up quite a bit. I've heard my filming partner here, Mal, who's not here right now, she's mentioned them quite often, and I've never heard of them. She doesn't know this, but when she was talking about them, because we were talking through text, she mentioned that they were old hags. So I immediately thought that they were girls, but they're not. So I didn't figure that out until a little later. But while she's taking a break, she's been suggesting more groups to me. And next is Super Junior, and she picked the two songs we're checking out today. She said Sorry Sorry was very iconic, which should be an older jam, but Mamacita is a newer one, which is why we're doing those two today, doing something old and doing something new, just so I can kind of give me a decent rounded off experience on like what they were like and how they are now. Just reading off of what she said Sorry Sorry is iconic, one of the most iconic K-pop songs in existence. All the idols know the song and choreo. My side quest here is also I'm supposed to figure out who she thinks is the hottest member in the group, and she only gave me one clue, which doesn't help me at all because I don't know anything about the group, but it will probably help some of you out there. She said that the member is a controversial one, because what's a K-pop group without controversy, right? I'm sure some of you big fans will know immediately who she's talking about. I have no idea, so I have to base it completely on sight. But before we check this out, guys, feel free to check out my YouTube membership. It's only $1 and you get early access to videos like these and also some anime reactions. Cool video. Never mind. Just kidding. Oh. Is it the first guy? I'm trying to point at the screen when I see them, but it's really hard. That one. I think it's that one. I'm trying to focus on the song too. Curious as to how old this song is. I didn't look. It's got a really nice groove to it. It is fairly tame though. It's a pretty consistent energy throughout. Bet you on a big sound system, this thing would really rock. I just cranked up my headphones. The dude in the white. That's gonna be my guess. Although all the facial profiles we just got there, they're all pretty good looking. Shit, that's gonna be tough to guess. Yeah, the dude that was consistently in the white tux, is it that one? I don't know. Like this, I'm going off of very little to no information. He just stands out to me a little bit for whatever reason. Apologies if I got it wrong. And I pointed out someone else because it's supposed to be a controversial member too, right? So that doesn't really make me feel good to just point someone out. Anyway, I'm probably wrong, but whatever. Let me check how old that song is. 16 years ago, 2009. The song definitely feels a bit dated, but that's kind of like whenever we go back in time with these songs, especially in K-pop, it definitely feels very different in that back then they weren't doing the whole genre switching thing in the same song. Nowadays, you can possibly get 3-4 different genres in one song, and that's kind of part of the norm. I'm sure we weren't really pushing limits back then like that, because we're probably still checking out what formulas they can come up with back then. We've traversed a whole lot of different formulas up to this point. That's probably why we can genre switch so many times within, you know, the K-pop spectrum. So, but you know what, it's got a really good groove to it. The beat, the synth, it's very consistent. They knew exactly what they wanted with that song. They kind of knocked it out of the park with the initial riff and figured, okay, this is essentially the whole hook. All we have to do is just kind of sprinkle in different vocal styles as we do it, and maybe do a little bit of some vocal effects too while we're at it to kind of give it a bit more different textures to it. But yeah, I could totally hear this in some kind of club, especially for back then. It's got a whole lot of bass frequency going on, I can tell. So yeah, this thing probably really bumps with a really good sound system. Okay, my rating out of 10. I'm going to preface my rating with, I feel like the song has aged a little bit. So I kind of feel like my ear is a bit more attuned to more modern K-pop nowadays. And so based on that, I think I'm gonna give this song a 7 out of 10. I realize it's supposed to be an iconic song, and maybe it was at the time that it came out, and maybe even for years after that. And Mal even said that, you know, that every K-pop group knows it and knows all the choreo and everything, so it must be just like this really big classic for them. Not to date the song by saying classic, but just saying that it has stood the test of time. All right, so we're gonna check out Mamacita, but I do have to amend one thing slightly. Mal said that Mamacita was actually a newer song, not a much newer song. When she was saying it to me through text, I was thinking it was within the past couple of years, but it's actually 5 years after Sorry Sorry. So it's newer, just not recent. So, okay. Kind of reminds me of Psy a little bit. Oh. I knew the vibes were gonna change, but not this much. This might be a hot take. I kind of like this a bit more.
특별함을 다 가진 우리 형 도대체 무슨 일이 있었나 Hey Mamacita 내가 아야야야야 잔인하게 깨져버린 꿈이 아야야야야 뭔가 무너지고 떠났어 눈물마저 담에 말랐어 감투를 심장 무게를 느껴 You and you 누가 먼저 시작했던 말도 이제 그만 좀 끝내보고 싶어 서로 자극하는 말 목적 없는 전쟁 같아
I at least like the verses better in this song. Chorus and Sorry Sorry I think might be preferred for me.
지키지 못할 약속했나요 시원스레 해결해봤나요 도대체 무슨 일일까 Hey Mamacita 내가 아야야야야 잔인하게 깨져버린 꿈이 아야야야야 뭔가 무너지고 떠났어 눈물마저 담에 말랐어 감투를 심장 무게를 느껴 You and you 돌아서서 다른 길로 다시 너를 위해 위로
Whole lot more transitions in this song. More variation, a lot more clear variation between verses and chorus. Yo, I like that build up. Really cool, minus the head tapping thing. I like all the choreo. Okay, so like that kind of falls in line with something I think that's a bit more akin to what we hear today. It's you know, it's got a bit more dynamics between, you know, transitions with chorus and verses. You can hear it in the production of the song too. It's a much more modern take, even in just the way that the song's mixed and mastered and everything. You can hear it in the frequencies. It's just something a bit more modern. So I think this song, like if I had to like compare this song to Sorry Sorry, it's kind of playing with an unfair advantage, and that advantage is time. It's just people were mixing music differently back then. We weren't messing with the same frequencies in the studios as we were 5 years later. Anything involving technology is going to make a noticeable leap within a 5-6 year gap. Now, is this particular song really up my alley in terms of something from K-pop? Not necessarily. So I think even if there are aspects of this song I like more, it's not really for reasons that I think necessarily would make it superior to Sorry Sorry. Because even though I said earlier that I like the verses more here than Sorry Sorry, I think though Sorry Sorry has a sound in general that I would rather listen to. This one's really fun. It's a little different. The production value's there. So I think for a song of its type, I think it's doing everything right. It's just not necessarily something that's a style that I lean towards, right? So I think in terms of rating, I would give Mamacita probably a 7 as well. But I think in the interest of at least saying which one do I like more overall, I think I'm just gonna go ahead and give it to Sorry Sorry, and maybe just give it one more point and just give it an 8. You know, it's really hard to compare two songs that came from two different times, even if it's only like a 5-6 year gap. That's obviously enough of a difference in that time frame to all of a sudden hear a slight difference in frequency. And Mamacita has that benefit to get that, you know, extra cleaner sound and bigger boomy bass and just something a bit more dynamic. And you can even hear it in the vocals as well, the way that they're recorded. I think more importantly, I don't think I can guess which one is Mal's bias. I don't think I'm right. Am I right? Am I right? Oh my god. I think I might have been right, guys. I just googled who's controversial in that group. It does technically say that there are multiple members that could be. I think I picked Choi C1. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Anyway, Mal, you can let me know if I'm right or not. Okay, well, like it says here that they released an album back in 2022. That's fairly recent. I'm sure Mal has her reasons for not suggesting something that new, but yeah, like so I mean, I'm sure their music has changed quite a bit, doing all the modern things I mentioned and everything. So definitely a lot of bass tones. The vocals do stand out more than I initially remember. Sometimes I have to not look at the video and just listen to the music. This is absolutely a song a bit more up my alley than Mamacita. Okay, I hate that I have to like keep my ratings a bit convoluted like this, but I'm gonna re-rate these songs. I think Sorry Sorry is an actual 7, so we're gonna go back to a 7. I think Mamacita needs to go down to a 6. Even though it's newer, it's got like some fun stuff in it, some more variations. I think Sorry Sorry is just a bit more up my alley in terms of just the general sound. But okay, so there you have it. So those are my final ratings there. Mal, let me know if I guessed your bias correctly. But okay, guys, I hope you enjoyed the reaction. Let me know in the comments if you want me to check out anything else by Super Junior or anybody else. And I will see what I can do, and we'll see you later.